those. You can hear me now. Okay, okay. Twitch, please. Twitch. I wore your shirt today. You can't really see it. Look, I wore your shirt today, and you're messing up on me and not giving me audio. I don't understand. All I did was mute it and unmute it a couple times. So, just to confirm, in the chats, you got audio. We got audio. I think we got audio. I don't know. I'm really happy I have closed captioning now, because at least, all right, I got yeses. All right, at least you could read me if you can't hear me. All right, I'm gonna delete this, Jay, so that if it happens again, you can tell me again, and I won't think it's just the same message. All right, so start from the top. Hi, I'm Gaarawarr, and I get no respect. Apparently, it's great grandson of Rodney Dangerfield. No, I'm not. You know, that's a real deep cut, Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect. All right, today we are doing Gaarawarr's Guide to Automation. That's both familiars and Modron cores. We're going to talk about that. That's because that's what automation exists of in the game currently. So we'll be covering those topics, and we'll talk about. Okay, got to stop watching chat. We'll talk about all the things that familiars can do. We'll talk about the things that cores can do. And we'll talk about how they work together, and we'll demonstrate how they work together, which is kind of what's going on the screen right now. We do have a code today. It's cores and familiars! ! Make sure you include the exclamation point. It's there for a reason. Yeah. Okay. Nothing like throwing off your groove with audio issues in the morning. Real quick, I'm going to give some slight spoilers for future episodes because I just spoil things now. It's what I do. Next week, we are going to have Gaarawarr's Guide to Alcoria. So if you haven't unlocked the gargoyle in game, or if you have and you're just not sure what to do with her, we'll talk about, that's not. I just had to update my notes for that. We'll talk about how to unlock her because that's an interesting mission. I just did it recently on my new player account. And it can be a little challenging for newer players, even more so than Dragonbait. And we'll talk about, how you use her, or how you attempt to use her in the current game. And then, after that, will be the final Gaarawarr's Guide for this year. Because at the end of the year, for the last couple weeks, the whole channel's going dark. No new episodes for anything, because that is the holidays. And that will be Gaarawarr's Guide to the Core Champions. So those 12 starting champions, we're going to do all 12 of them in one show. Because apparently they want me to talk really fast. Really fast. But yeah, we'll talk about just kind of how they work in the game currently. And then when we come back, we'll come back. That'll be so Gaarawarr's Guide to Alcoria on the 12th. Gaarawarr's Guide to the Core Champions on the 19th. When we come back in 2021, an entirely new year. Bold of me to think 2020 will ever end. We'll be doing a 2020 Champs Year in Review. So every single champion that came out in 2020, we will talk about. All of them. As if 12 core champions wasn't enough. I'll be talking about 19 champions in one episode. Wow. Okay, so into Gaarawarr's Guide to Familiars and Modron cores. Automation. On the 12th day of Christmas, Gaarawarr gave to me guides that got me through 2020. Nice! That was good. That even rhymed. Well done. Okay, so familiars, folks. You know what? I'm going to go over. Let's look at an account that doesn't have a lot of familiars on it. Let's hop over and look at this one. Familiars are these little bouncy things. I got a mage hand. This is the first familiar you usually get in the game. If you're just you know, getting them naturally. I got a Pixie, and I got an Armored Juniper here. So what are they doing? They're doing all kinds of things. Familiars can automate a number of chores for you. They're not just cute, and some of them are adorably cute. In fact, if we go over to this other account, I just got to say... No, that's the wrong button. This one. So great. Look at that pirate parrot, folks. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for parrot. Well, not parrots. Pirates. So when you make a parrot a pirate, it's all over. So yeah, some of them are cute and adorable. Some are, you know, there's the Hollyphant. Some are outright scary, like this mimic wrapped as a Christmas gift or anniversary gift. I don't know. Like, don't look a gift mimic in the mouth, folks. It's bad. So, familiars, you can't just start the game and then go buy one in the store and then use it immediately. You can only start using familiars once you've reached area 66 in any adventure. So technically it could be after your first adventure, but probably not likely, as that's usually pretty hard to push in as a new player. But once you've played a couple missions and you've pushed somewhat deep into the game, deep for a new player at least, you reach area 66 and it unlocks this little box down here with the little mage hand. You won't be able to use it before that. Once you do, you can click on it and you'll see a list of familiars that you can potentially buy. The starting ones, like the mage hand familiar, is super cheap. These are for gems, usually. The first initial set you can buy for gems. Gems, of course, you earn in-game by killing bosses. Once you get enough gems, I think the mage hand now is only 250 gems, which honestly you have, I think, after your first 2 missions, just from what you've picked up off bosses and then the gem rewards for completing missions. That's another place you can earn gems. You can buy it right away. I definitely recommend it. You'll throw it out to do all kinds of things, like putting it out here. I should probably switch it back so people don't think you get this green one right away. Even some familiars have skins, folks. There we go. There's our initial mage hand. They do different things in different places, and we'll go over that in a second. Currently, there are, I believe, if I remember my math correctly, there are 8 available for gems. You can find them, like I said, either down here if you click the little hand once they're available to you, or if you come up here to the shop and we go over to the gem items page, you will see whatever is available for you to purchase with gem items. It'll probably look a little more full if we go over here. Yeah, there we go. So I've only picked up 3 of the gem familiars here. As you can see, there's 5 left. And they start out, like I said, at 250 gems, and they go all the way up to 200,000 gems. So there's definitely some that you're not going to have right away. I don't even have the Quasit and the Zorbo on my other account, if you noticed. Because there are just other things sometimes that you want to spend gems on. Outside of that, you can get a bunch just right out of the store. If we come over here to packs, occasionally you will see packs that have familiars in them, like the Modrone Founders Pack has this cute little Monodrone familiar. He's adorable. The Founders Pack 3 has the Hedgehog familiar. I'm not going to list all of these off, but as you can see, sometimes they'll come on their own. Like this is Xanathar's Goldfish, whose name is Silgar, if we all know. You can pick that up. That one's only $5. Sometimes they're on sale. Sometimes they come with potions. Sometimes they come with potions of polish. Sometimes they'll come with, a champion skin like the Founders Pack. So you can get them with all kinds of things. If they're not in the store, because sometimes they get retired and you don't see them anymore in the store, they will pop up here as a wild offer, and you can pick them up with a variety of things, which is nice. Right? Some of the wild offers are pricey, some are super fantastic. It's all subjective based off your disposable income and how bad you want that thing. So keep that in mind. There are also, however, 3 more you can pick up in-game without having to spend cash on. They are in the patron shop. If you come all the way down, each patron has a familiar that you can buy one of. 50,000 currency. Mertz is the golden flame skull. Vajra's is like the spider. Yeah, Conjured Spider. And Strahd's is adorable. It's the toy werewolf. If it isn't a Blinsky, yeah. So, awesome. As they add more patrons, we can expect that they'll add more familiars to the patron shop. But they've been pretty consistent about adding more familiars over time, both in, slowly in the gem shop, because again, they're super pricey, but a lot's usually in the cash shop because, they got to make the game function. They got to pay people. Overall, right now, if I remember correctly, we have like 40 total familiars that you can acquire one way or the other. And I think it's like 8. Like I said, I think it's 8 for gems, 3 for the patrons currently. That makes 11 that you can get without spending any cash. And then the other 29 are purchasable in one form or another. So what do they do? Like right now, I've got one out on the field. It's clicking on things. It's basically automating as if I were just going to be clicking with my mouse over here, which I don't know if you can hear my mouse, but it's loud to me, and I've got headphones in. Or you can just put, or you can like see if I don't click, they come out and people kill them. But if I put the clicker there, it's going to click 5 times a second, and that's 5 times a second for each familiar I put out. For those who don't know, before it gets asked, on PC, press F to place familiars. Press F, these little white boxes come up all over the place. That's everywhere you can place a familiar. And the neat thing about that, well, we'll go into the neat thing about that in a minute. If we another place we can put them is down here. There's 2 places for ultimates. There's a roaming ultimate bar. So if you put it on the long bar, it's going to roam across, and every 30 seconds it's going to hit one at random that isn't on cooldown. We'll let it do that. However, if I go ahead and just place one directly on an ultimate, it will hit it on cooldown. So if you want an ultimate to go off on cooldown, you just drop the familiar directly on it. As we watch, it's just going to hit it. There might be a slight delay, but the delay is usually in waiting for an enemy to come on screen for it to launch that ultimate at. Just keep that in mind. Oh yeah, and that one did the roaming thing. See, it's just going to roam around, and he's going to run around, and he's going to do that. That's pretty cool. All right. The other place we can put them, obviously, is we saw some things light up down here. You can put it over here on your click damage slot. You can put it on a single champion. There is no roaming champion bar. I know a lot of people have talked about that, but it's not going to roam around, and you can't get it to roam around and randomly upgrade a champion. You do have to put it on a champion specifically. So if I put it over here, it's going to click every second, and it's going to level up every second. That's the places currently that we can place a familiar. Now, one of the key things to remember here is if you're confused about what it's going to do, you can just hover over the box. You can press F, hover over the box. Again, this is on PC. It's going to tell you this is a clicker slot. It's going to tell you what can happen here. So it's going to click 5 times a second. If you place 3 or more, we're going to place 3, it automatically picks up all the gold, if you'll notice. Now, if we place 5, it picks up the gold, and it picked up it opened the gem sack and took all the items out of it right away. And again, remember, each one of these is clicking 5 times a second on these normal enemies. If we put a 6th up here, if any distractions appear flying across the screen, they'll die instantly. It's going to click, and it does obviously all of the other things that it could do up to that point. Now, one thing to keep in mind, it is going to click and automate clicking for you in this regard on the field for enemies 5 times a second per familiar, except when you run into those cases where you have something that is a segmented health enemy or obstacle. So whether it's hit-based or armored, it is only ever going to click on those once every 5 seconds. And that's not per familiar. That's just clicking will only affect segmented health things once every 5 seconds. Because remember, this is still a formation strategy management game. You're supposed to build a party of champions, and those champions are supposed to be what's killing things for you. The familiars are there to offer some utility, but when they give you something that has segmented health, they want you to be killing that and removing that with your champions. So other places down here, you can see the roaming ultimate bar. It'll tell you, hey, you can place up to 4 familiars here, and they activate it off cooldown every 30 seconds. It's just what I told you. They give you all this information here. You just got to know to look for it. Place familiar on a specific ultimate, so that tells you what specifics are, and then click damage or champions, right? Click damage. It's just going to automatically spend gold to level it up. With champions, though, it'll spend gold to level up the champion. Familiars will buy the numbers of levels selected and pop up the specialization dialog when a specialization choice is reached. And so number of items selected, or number of levels selected is here. So you can have 1, you can have it by 10, you can have it by 25, you can have it by 100, or you can just have it buy to the next upgrade. That tends to be what I do if I'm automating like this, and I'm below the soft cap. So I'll tend to just let it be there. And then you'll notice it's not doing anything right now, but once I get enough gold for it to buy the next upgrade, it'll do it. It's pretty straightforward. That's why when we started, I had these out. Well, actually, if I just load my save formation, because that's a thing, it puts them all out. I upgrade my click damage. I have one on all of these. I've got a lot of familiars out right now. This is part of what we can do. So with familiars, they're going to do a lot of things, and they're going to do them pretty well. But they do have their limitations. That is, like I said, against segmented health and armored bosses, you're only clicking that once. It doesn't matter if you have the damage to remove a segment or not. It's only going to click once every 5 seconds. Another thing to keep in mind, even though you can't really tell right now, and I'll remove these. Oh, that's the other thing. So when we press F, you'll notice there is one box that's surrounded with a red outline instead of the white. This is the way to place them out automatically. This removes them all automatically. So that's nice and easy. If we were to remove some people here so that we have things not dying instantly, potentially. I mean, they'll die instantly, but we want a few on the screen. So if I press a clicker, it's always going to click on, if I place a familiar, it's always going to click on the enemy closest to your formation. So if I'm going to drop this down when we build up some on this next level, you're going to notice that what dies are the enemies that are right up next to the formation, not that are closest to wherever the familiar is placed. So see, it's just gonna go in. I think I killed the one back here because I clicked when I placed the familiar, but yeah, that's what happened. But it starts at the front and works its way to the back. Now, if you need to click in a specific area, like say you wanna just pick off things in the back, you can do this manually. Even if you've got familiars out, if they're not instant killing and you just want to kill things in the back and you want something on your target, you can just take the familiars out and manually click here. But because familiars are always going to start clicking up here, and that may not be necessarily what you want to click on. So keep that in mind. When you're automating, there are limitations. That's one of them. Sometimes there's a boss back here that sits back here and it spawns lots of enemies. Well, it could be a hit-based boss, which means you just need to do 1 point of damage to it to remove one of its segments, but your familiars aren't clicking on it because they're clicking up here. So you can just come back here and then you can just manually click in the background, and that'll kill things in the background while you still have enemies up there. So keep that in mind for familiars. They are limited in that way. Ooh, any other limitations? I think that's it, other than just, the number you can actually get via gems, which is, or without spending cash. That's usually what everybody wants to know. Currently it's 8, but again, some are pretty pricey in the gem range. If you want to just automate, like the start of a run, like when I first start, here, let's turn this automation off. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's just restart this run. One of the things that I should bring up, because we're going to restart a run. When you restart a run, when you save a formation, we're going to hop in and we're not going to have any formation loaded. But when you save a formation down here and you have familiars placed, if you'll notice down here in the bottom of that box, not only does it show you what the formation looks like, it tells you how many familiars you have assigned. So I own, I guess, there's 25 potential places, I think, for me to assign a familiar. I have 15 assigned out of here. So if you place them all where you want them and then save the formation, it's going to keep that placement in mind. Now, the limitation here is that it uses the exact familiars you saved. So it doesn't show you what they are in this, but it is if you use your familiar somewhere else, like if you have it in a second party, and it goes to try to use it when you punch in here, it's just not going to place that familiar. Because it doesn't just pull like it's a pool. It pulls those specifically placed familiars. So to demonstrate, when I come into this, if I just want to load this formation, it's going to automatically load everything and start leveling things up for me. And killing things exactly like I wanted it to. It did not load my formation ideally. It's also not because I don't have some other automations involved here. I now have to pick all of my specializations because familiars don't do this for you. They just buy up until this. But there is other automation that will do that for you. So I'm just going to click this again to make sure that it's loaded correctly. There we go. Sometimes you got to smash your formation save button a couple times for it to load everything in perfectly. Glitch is going to glitch. All right. I see a question. I'll answer it right now, just because it's pertinent. If you drop the familiar from the other run, will it yank it into your offline formation? If you go into the other run and you remove that familiar, and then you come back to this one and hit the load again, the save formation button again, it will then pull it in. It just doesn't do it automatically. So there is some fiddling if you do those kinds of things. When you get a bunch of them, I think the best thing to do is just make sure you're being consistent about placement. That's why when I place my familiars, I do it in a very specific order. Because I use the F, I click them out, so I always know which ones are going to go where. So I always know this is like the first 6. This would be the first 7 if I want all of them. I always know these are going to be there. In my save, I don't put the 6th one because I think at the time I wanted more for a background run, but now I have more familiars, so it's not as big a deal. So you could save and automate this type of stuff. Now, this is what we had forever. This was all the automation we had for a very long time. But then recently they added Modron automation. So Modron cores, you'll see I was clicking up here, I was clicking down here. This is part of the unlock and the reward you get when you complete Split the Party. Qualifying for this means you have to have one champion, one extra champion in each slot. So you need to have at least one that you can swap out to in every slot. So a minimum of 24 champions. You'll see the button before that. You'll see it after you have like 6 slots that you have a swap for. But this is kind of one of the early things that people work for when you start a new account is getting enough champions and collecting champions in the right spots to be able to attempt Split the Party. Split the Party gives you your second party that you can use in the background. And it also gives you Modron core. It gives you a free Modron core, and then it lets you automate. We'll go to the free one. This is the free one that it gives you. I have filled it all out with pipes. This isn't as important to us as the automation component, which we'll zoom in here. Basically, what we want to do, I'm gonna show it on my other core because it's cleaner. Each core has an automation component, and to get automation going, you have to start where the power starts, run pipes to the automation component, and then that automation component will let you, it enables the following automation types: buff, reset, formation. All right, so we're going to talk about all of those. There's a handy dandy button here once you get it set up. If you do not have it hooked up, you cannot automate your formation. That's just how it works. So you've got to at least power this automation piece to be able to set up automation. So for the Modrons only automate 3 things. They automate a set formation, they automate a set area goal, and they automate set buffs. This is it. Okay, there's some confusion about what they do and how this works, but this is it. This is what they do. Under set formation, what it will do is, like it says here, pick a formation to be automatically loaded during adventures on the selected campaign. So this is why I have a save formation already, right? If these are all disabled, nothing's going to work. But you can come into this handy little dialog. You click on it when you're in whatever campaign you're in, and you can pick the pre-save formation that you've already had in your system. You cannot manually build a formation from this screen. This is a formation save manager. You need to build your formation out in the adventure and then save it here. It will tell you that, okay, you've got specializations chosen, and it'll even let you see what they are and change them right here if you want, which is a neat little feature. It'll let you select which one. You can rename it from this. From here, you can also select specializations. So again, one of the things when you're saving your formation, if you save it before you've chosen your specializations, that won't save, and you'll have to manually load them. If you save it after you chose your specializations, it will. But if you saved it before and there weren't specializations chosen, you can come to this screen and you can click on it, and you can choose whatever spec you want. And this will be it won't change what's happening in the current run if you've already selected your specialization. It will change what happens on the next run, the next time you load this formation. So you can manage that all from here. And then once you have that done, you can turn it on and enable it. And now, whenever I restart a mission, and we'll go restart, actually, I'll show you right now. This will be the only thing I change. So as before, you saw I had to manually load the formation. Now I can just hop out. I can come in and come back in again for anywhere in the Sword Coast campaign. I could have gone to any adventure, and it's going to automatically pick up some gold and load in that formation correctly. It's also going to do all my specialization choices. If you watch, they're not going to pop up at all. This only unlocks after beating Split the Party. Correct. Modron automation only unlocks after beating Split the Party. It is your Modron core is a reward from completing Split the Party. And the Modron screen, the access to that screen, is all part of having a core. Whereas familiars are your reward for reaching Area 66 in an adventure, your access to them. So each of the forms of automation has kind of an achievement associated with it. Familiars are the easier one because they want to get those to you right away, because familiars make the early games super nice. They make the whole game super nice. But early on, when you're clicking a lot, because you don't have a lot of gold, and you're having to kill things with clicks as well as with champions, because you've only got Brunor out, having a familiar helps quite a bit. And then later on, it helps to automate all these things if you have enough. So the core, so we loaded, that's a set formation feature of the core. I can also access my automation just up here. They put this handy dandy little icon up here to tell you, like I can see I've turned on automation for my formation, but it's not on for the reset on the areas or buffs. I can just click there and it takes me straight to this screen, which is super nice. Yeah, Area 66. Like I said, basically Area 66 in any adventure. Like right now we're on Area 12. So when you start off, you reach Area 66. That little mage hand icon shows up, and you can place familiars. All right, so set formation. Set area goal is the next. So this one should seem pretty straightforward. Choose an area in which your run will be automatically reset and restarted. So I have mine super high at 330. That's not really going to do well for a demonstration, so let's place it at 17. And it's turned on. And what happens is it's not when you reach Area 17, it's when you complete the quest requirements for that level. So once we get all of those, boom, the Modron takes over, resets us, and we're back. And it's loading a formation, and it's leveling up again. Right? So you can set this to whatever you want it to. Just remember, whatever you set it to, you have to be able to reach. I know with the amount of favor that I have, I can reach this level just fine. That's how I set mine up. We'll talk about why there's those certain numbers a little later. So the final thing you can automate here is setting buffs. I'm not going to enable this yet, but we'll get into that. Set potions that will be automatically used when your character enters certain areas. So you have they call them buffs. I don't know why they call them buffs and not potions, but sure. We have all of the potions that you potentially have in your inventory that buff your characters or buff your click damage or buff your speed. They're available, and you can just click on one, and it defaults to setting it at area 25. But if you click on this, you can change that. So we're going to click on this. We're going to set it to area 10, and I'm going to enable it, and I want this to go away, so I'm going to choose that. Now, when we get to area 10, you should see the buff icon pop up here. There we go. So right as we completed the requirements for 9, it kicks in, and now we have a potion running. That's it. That's what it does. You can set any kind of potions you want. It's pretty straightforward. Anything that you have. And as long as you have them in your inventory, it will keep pulling them out. Now, if you run out of them, because you've automated, like I have 103 of these, on my 104th run, automated run, I will be out, and it just won't load anymore because it doesn't have any to use. It's smart that way. It's just not, can't use something that you don't have. So I don't use these a lot because usually when I'm automating things, I don't necessarily want it using potions. You can, but usually I like to use some of these manually. But to each their own. You can automate all kinds of things this way. Now, usually you're only automating like resets and stuff in free plays. It's not gonna. This won't. If you load into a variant, you can load your formation, but it's not going to reset at a certain place because it's not a free play. So keep that in mind. And my throat's getting harsh. Hold on. All right. So, Modern Cores, again, they can assign a pre-save formation. It can include your specializations, and it can include the familiar placement that you have. You can set an area goal to reset on. Now, if you pass that level for some reason, like if you have Briv, and he jumps you past the reset level, the game still checks that you have either met that requirement or exceeded that requirement, and it will then reset you. So you're not going to miss a reset if you go past it. We are in the middle of an event, and a lot of people ask, well, can you automate event free plays? And I do this a lot. But there's one extra thing that comes in with event free plays is they require tokens, right? If you automate an event free play, it's going to use your tokens, and it's going to use them up and over and over and over again for every reset. When you get to the point where you don't have enough tokens to reset a free play and run a new one, it just doesn't reset you, and you'll just keep pushing. And if suddenly during that push, before you reach your wall and it stops, if you get enough tokens to reset a new run, because it's constantly checking every time it completes a level, it will then restart you and run you through a new one. But that is a good way if you're just if you've saved up a bunch of tokens, you've already done the variants, you just want to burn through all of your free plays to 51. That's where I set mine. I set mine to 51 just in case for for my event free plays. It will then just churn through to 51, reset, churn through to 51, reset. That'll get you your free chests out of an event over and over and over again until you run out of tokens. So it's a nice and easy way to kind of automate all of those excess token runs for you. And you can set buffs. The third one, you can set buffs to automatically fire off those potions at preset levels. Those are the three things Modron Automation will do for you. Now, at no point did I say Modron Automation will level up your characters. Because it won't. Because we talked about that before. Familiars level up your characters. So when you get a Modron core, if you don't have any familiars, and you save a formation that doesn't have any familiars in it, and it goes to reset, it will load the formation. It will load a ghost of the formation. But until you pick up gold and buy characters and kill things, it can't load in champions. That is what familiars do. So keep in mind to fully automate your runs, like I do here. Like if I want to set this to here, I can set this back down to 51. It's going to automatically reset because I'm past 51. If you just want to automatically reset your runs, like what just happened there, You have to have familiars and your Modron core. You got to have both. They work together. They each have their own things they automate, and you need to use them both in tandem to fully automate your runs. Otherwise, you've got to manually buy stuff, manually upgrade stuff. Yeah. So I do have Modron automation on my newer account. But I tend not to automate things here. I do usually run a second party. I stopped last night for some reason. But I tend not to do automation here because I don't have enough familiars. And because I only have 3 familiars, I like to have 1 on click damage and then 2 on the field until the point where it's not viable anymore. And then I'll move it out here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I will move my familiars around. And the only thing I really care about is... if I don't have enough familiars to automate, then I'm just making sure that I save a formation and then just load in that formation at the beginning of every run. That's the thing that I care about when I don't have. But once you have enough familiars where you can start doing automated runs, and automated runs are things you feel the need to do, which aren't necessary, or again, early on, hopefully by that point you'll have all the familiars you need. I am still saving up gems to get my 4th familiar. I only have 3 on this account. So I don't automate a whole lot on that account. So new players, I feel your pain. One thing to keep in mind, I want to go back to this screen because this can confuse people sometimes. If we go to the automation through this way, you can get there 2 ways, either up there as a shortcut or down here the long way. There is this drop down I did not point out. This is every single campaign in the game. I scrolled through real quick, but you'll see like there's Feast of the Moon Year 4. There's Vajra, Baldur's Gate. There's Strahd's, Icewind Dale. Every single campaign, including your patron stuff, is listed in here because these are all the places you could have a save formation. Now, right now, we are on a Grand Tour Sword Coast. That is the formation I chose. If I click over here to Tomb of Annihilation, and then I click in and I set, let's set this formation. This does not mean that when this run resets, that it will take me to Tomb of Annihilation. Because all this is a campaign setting. I can't tell it what adventure to run in that campaign. So what you're doing here when you're going through, if you go through and you manually click on these things and set a save formation, is you're telling the Modron, hey, the next time I'm in this campaign for any reason, this is what I want you to automate. Okay? It's not telling it where to go. Right? You're telling it where to go. Wherever you've placed it right here, whatever free play you've chosen is where it's going to sit and automate with the formation that you've chosen. So keep that in mind. I think that's all of the main stuff. We can talk a little bit about what people usually automate. Again, one of the things you automate, like I automate my free plays and events. We'll do that here in a moment. I automate Mad Wizard. Mad Wizard is probably, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Mad Wizard's probably the most automated adventure in the game. Because Mad Wizard is where people go to gem farm. It's what I'm doing right now. That's what this formation was built to do. That's what I set my reset for. That's what all my specializations are picked for. Yeah, this is an automated Mad Wizard run. If we note, my second party is in a Grand Tour of the Sword Coast as well, but in a Mert version. I don't know why. Oh, because back in the day, you couldn't run the same adventure twice with a different party. But now, if it's a free play, you can. So I should probably switch that back. That one has a different level that it goes to because it's a smaller party. So basically, if you get to the point where you want to make lots and lots of gems, like you've played through all the adventures, you've played through the variants, now you're into, there isn't a quick way for you to make lots of gems, or there just isn't anything for you to do, right? Like I've completed every adventure and every variant of the game, and I'm almost done with all of the patron stuff. Whatever's the most recent, I'm like 99% complete for Mert and Vajra. I just haven't done their most recent additions, and like 95 for Strahd or somewhere around there. If there isn't anywhere for you to go earn gems, efficiently, then you come to Mad Wizard and you run it over and over and over and over again. And you run it with click damage, so because that's, again, we're insta-killing everything. And you do this because the first 30 levels of Mad Wizard are the fastest levels in the game for a normal free play. So when you want to make gems quickly, you come to Mad Wizard. So that's why you'll see someone's reset on Mad Wizard. They talk about, well, it's somewhere in the 30 or 80 range. So this is a 30. My other one is at an 80. Why does that matter? You're trying to be efficient with your time spent. If you don't have any speed champions, specifically if you don't have Shandy, you can set it for 30 or 80 or 130 or 180 or all the way up to 3. It doesn't really matter. You're probably just as quick without Shandy doing it just to 30 and letting it reset at 30 over and over and over again. But once you have Shandy, Shandy has a speed function that requires you to not be hit for 60 seconds. So her speed doesn't kick in for 60 seconds. So what you'll see people do is they'll figure out their most efficient level to go to by click killing, how far they can click and instant kill something. And they'll reset at a 30 or 80 near that. Now I can click kill usually up to about 350, 360, probably 370 now that I converted another time gate into this. But since I can't get to 380 and it isn't instant to 380, I reset at 330. That gives me the most efficient amount of time with Shandy possible. So the first 60 seconds, which don't count linearly, they count. If we go back, I'm going to reset so you can see. The countdown pauses as you transition levels. And I will demonstrate that here. We'll just pop in and we'll open Shandy. Oh, wait, I got to let her level up a bit to get that ability going. All right, there we go. Oh, no, I didn't. 120. There we go. So now we'll watch this countdown. So 57 seconds, but then you see it pause. Then we're on a new level. Now it's going to count down. Do I have to close it? Why doesn't it auto-update? Yeah, 48 seconds. 44 seconds, but it's going to pause. It's going to pause when we switch levels. So it isn't just a straight 60 seconds. So you can get quite a ways. You could probably we'll watch her and see when it kicks in. You might get most of the way to 30 before it actually kicks in. So if you reset early with Shandy, you're just kind of wasting Shandy. We want to make sure that we're using all of our speed as efficiently as possible. The other speed champions in here, we'll go over each of them real quick. Because again, this is basically the most automated adventure you're going to find. The other speed champions I have in here are Deacon. Deacon has confidence in the boss. That's us. When he has fear in the 6 stacks of Story of Doom, the speed of enemies spawning is increased by a large amount, and this is affected by, I have a feat going on in here that ups this. He's got a feat that you can pick up that increases that. So it's going to be super fast. Now, that spawn, what that means is when they go from the point where they load onto the screen to the point where they can be killed. They always load in. See how they're running in super fast? That's Deacon. Deacon makes them just shoot onto the screen. It doesn't mean they're spawning faster. It means they go from the point where you can see them to the point where they can be killed faster, which allows, and once you kill them instantly with clicks, the next wave spawns. This is how Deacon speeds up the game for you. Another one that works along with this is Melf. Melf has that effect as part of his speedy supplement. He can increase enemy spawn speed. His can be quite a bit higher. He can also have a chance to spawn additional enemies, and he can increase quest drops. So depending on what kind of level you're on and what's going on, he could do different things, but it changes every 50th area. So right now it's enemy speed spawning. So that's why things are just rocketing onto the screen, rocketing to the kill range, is because both Melf and Deacon are both currently buffing that spawn speed. Sentry is in here as a speed effect champion. What she does, she has a chance to reduce the quest requirements for any given level. So normally you have 25 you need to knock out. Right now, if you look up here, I only have 17. That is her ability in effect. I have hers maxed out, so it happens every single level. That is an item-based thing. It is her slot 3, her Flowering Hair Vines. So Sentry's Redshift ability. And that only happens if she's not attacked. So if someone's wondering why she's in the back of my formation, it's because she's here for speed and speed alone. Right now, the familiars are killing all the enemies. That's what the familiars are for. The speed champions are here to provide the speed effects. So Shandy is now buffing. I forgot to watch, but now we got into probably the late teens before she kicked in, mid to late teens. So she kicks in with just a straight up speed potion. Her dash increases the game speed by 50%. When she's spec'd correctly, because again, there are specialization choices for these speed effects. You want to make sure you choose them. So she is spec'd specifically for just to maximize the game, so 50% faster. She functions like a speed potion, and if you add speed potions, you will notice normally it takes like an epic, a large, and a medium to get 10x speed. You can just use an epic and a large with Shandy when she's in that spec, and you'll get to like 9.8 or something, or 9.28. You'll get over 9, and it's close enough at that point to 10x speed because she functions like a speed potion. Super nice. Let's use fewer potions. So let's see. So we've got Deacon, we've got Melf, we've got Sentry, we've got Shandy. Technically, Havilar is a speedster. She needs her imps out. And there's a little hack that works on some platforms, but not others, where if you leave your upgrade to X100, when it resets, if we go back and we do this, it should load her in with her imps out. Let's see if it still works. They've tried to fix this on a couple occasions because it's not supposed to do this, folks, but hey, they're there. So keep that in mind. It doesn't work on all platforms. It does work on some. And what she does is when she is on a level with her Fiendish Resolve, with these imps out, Dembo, or second Fiend, enemies drop 2 quest items at once or count for 2 kills at once. So basically, it's another way of reducing the number of things you have to kill. If you watch, like, the bar is just flying filled because we're killing fiends. It just rockets you through completions of levels. Between her and Shandy and Melf, or her and Sentry and Melf, if Melf is on he's still on enemy spawn speed. But if he was on his double credit, it's disgusting. You kill like a couple things and you've moved on to the next level. So, what the heck are all these other people out here for? Well, as we talked about earlier, familiars are what kill enemies. But again, they will not kill... Well, they can kill segmented health stuff, but they can only click once every 5 seconds on something that has segmented health. Mad Wizard has barricades in it, or objects that have segmented health in it. They're hit-based. You only got to do 1 damage to kill them. So what we do is we load in, or I have loaded in, multi-attack champions. So Farida, as you saw there, she shoots out like those 5 missiles. 5 rays of fire from Scorching Ray. We've got Hitch, who can throw multiple daggers. How many am I up to right now? I've got his extra dagger storage set up. I've got him on more daggers. I don't know. He's got a bunch of them. And then he can ricochet. Is it like 5 when he has all of it? I can't remember off the top of my head. And then he's got ricochet. And when you ricochet, the dagger has a chance to ricochet up to 5 times. So... excuse me. Basically, he gets a lot of attacks. Birdsong is not only a multi-attacker. See, she gets additional attacks on a target. She also attacks every 3 seconds, so she's a fast multi-attacker. And then we got Benwyn. Benwyn gets extra attacks when champions within 2 slots of him do a certain number of attacks before his next attack. So right now he's getting 2 extra attacks from 5 other champions. So he gets basically multi-attacks and Crash and Smash. Benwyn does 2 hits to enemies with hit and armor-based health. So he automatically gets credit for 2 when he hits it once, and then he gets multiple attacks from other people attacking before he does, so he just chunks through hit and armor-based stuff too. Now, if you don't have some of these champions, obviously you can still do this without them. You just put some other fast attacker in, hopefully. Some other faster multi-attacker in. And away you go. But this is the setup that I use for Mad Wizard because when we get to one of these barricade levels, you'll see it. Just basically chews right through it like a chainsaw. I don't have to wait around. It's not doing it with click damage. So it's not taking forever. This is one of the things I think that some people, they try to automate their background formation. After we see one of these, I'll go to my background formation to show you how I set that up. But some people try to automate their background formation with just familiars and no champions on the field. And then they run into problems where like sometimes they'll stop getting progress, or they get slow progress and they don't understand why. And I know why. It's because they're probably having issues killing things with the clickers, and maybe if they're trying to do Mad Wizard, they're running into those barricade levels, and you just can't click through those. Not in the amount of time it's trying to automate. It ends up just stretching things out and slowing you down. So I was hoping to get to, well, we can come back and see a barricade in a bit. Let's just hop over to this formation. So what I like to do in my background formation is I like to just set up my familiars on my champions. Pretty straightforward. I don't put any on the field. I don't put any on click damage. I just load in the champions. Because what's happening, as you'll see here, what's happening in the background, background parties are basically using a form of offline progress. And in offline progress, the system just calculates, do you have enough damage to kill the required amount or the required things in 1 minute? Can you do it in a minute? Well, if you're only clicking on a segmented health barricade that has like 25 chunks once every 5 seconds, you can do the math real quick. Like you're only getting through 12 of those in a minute. So then it's going to slow your progress down. It's going to then go, well, now it's going to stretch out the amount of time, and then it's going to use that time potentially going forward to figure out your calculations. And like, we don't know exactly how it works, but we do know it's going to slow things down. You're not going to be able to get through that. So I use champions. This is a pretty limited party just because I'm also, not only am I collecting gems back here with it running to 80 and resetting, but I'm trying to get Torgar stacks very slowly. I'm up to 1.189 million. That's fine. I'm in no hurry to get him to 2.5 million. So I just let him stack that stuff up in the back. And this is a nice evil party. And just because, why not? Like, if he's going to go out stacking his farm, he's going to be with evil. This is a theme party. It's enough people for me to do enough damage to get to 80 and reset. And it's champions I don't necessarily use all the time, so I'm not worried about pulling them out into another formation. So this is a good use for your background party, is put champs in it that maybe aren't always in your main formations, and then just let them do stuff. Again, it does take familiars, but like I said, if you only have like one extra familiar you want to spare, then just put one person back here and have it reset at like 30 and see what happens on Mad Wizard. It doesn't even have to be Mad Wizard at that point. In the background, none of the speed stuff matters. It's not being calculated. Again, it's just, can you kill the required number of things in 1 minute? So you could do it anywhere. And if you're not going to use, if you're going to do that with just a limited party, try to find an adventure that doesn't have barricades. Like, here's a barricade. This is what we were talking about. Try to find an adventure that doesn't have barricades so that you don't have to worry about it chunking through barricades. But it really doesn't matter, because it's going to make that calculation. Again, can you do it in a minute? And yes, this many people can kill this in less than a minute. So this is why I use this as my background formation. I don't put a familiar on click damage. I don't put any familiars in the field. They just go on the champions to level them up. Set obstacle was what, 64? Where are we at? I can just jump back. That would be like 14. Right? Yeah. So watch how quickly it chews through this obstacle with this formation, right? fairly quickly. There, we got some multi-hits in. That's what I want. I want it to just destroy things real fast. I think we had a couple multi-hits go at enemies that were loading onto the screen instead, but in general, you're just going to chew right through things with this type of formation. And that's pretty much it for automation currently. I know people have asked for a lot of additional things for automation. Currently, I don't know of any that are. I'm not even going. Like, people have wanted to like automate turning auto progress back on, or automate or block certain ultimates from being used, that kind of stuff, or choose the number of times it uses an ultimate. If you have quality of life requests for automation in general, you can hit up the Discord. You can hit up Reddit. You can go to now the help and support page. Actually has feedback for quality of life options for things that you can want there too. So you can hit those up and drop that in and see what other people have asked about. But this is what automation currently does in the game. I'm gonna take a real quick break to drink some water, so I don't have to clear my throat so much. And we'll answer some other specific questions people had in chat. I've got a nice little document off to my left where Jay has been pulling questions that you've been putting in chat. So if I haven't addressed them so far, I will address them now. We'll hit up the stuff that's about automation first, and then we can go into general questions. We have plenty of time. We've still got another hour. So whatever questions people want to talk about, we can talk about. So I will be right back, folks. And we're back. All right, so part 2. Hey, Q&A time. Let's see. I think we did a couple of these up the top already. Can I power up? This says Zorbo with automation, but I assume you mean Zorbu. Zorbo is the familiar. Zorbu is the champion. And yes. Now, whether you automate him in the foreground, like in your active party, or in your background party, are two different things. Like we just saw, I am stacking up my Gaarawarr in my background party. Goes real slow. In part because I'm only ever killing potentially 25 things a minute. It doesn't necessarily always give you that exact number. Sometimes it can be a little low, but it does give you something. That was kind of when we were when the group of us that were in beta testing for background stuff for the automation and the background party, multi-party. That was a big feature. We were like, no, you got to be able to offline farm Zorbu. So that is a thing, but it is definitely faster to farm him actively in your front party, because what you want to do is with Zorbu is you want to find a level and just sit on that level and not go anywhere, and just let him kill things over and over and over again. Now you can do that in the background party. You can, at least on PC, you can go into settings, and you can do you can uncheck this box. This is always auto progress with offline. So you can then, if you uncheck it, then when you park Zorbu on a level in a background party, or when you're going offline at night, it will still sit and farm while you're away. You just got to make sure you turn that option off. I think that's better done in the active party, because then you can use speed potions and stuff. Speed effects do not work. This is kind of a multi-party thing. Speed effects don't work in your offline progress, generally speaking. There was some talk before, this is from Nefarious, about when setting the area goal to say level 50, that sometimes automation reset before the rewards would fire off. So people were suggesting it setting it to 51. Do we know for sure if that's a thing? I believe that's been fixed. I believe that was a bug early on. I haven't seen it happen. But again, I just set mine. I tend to set mine to 51. Like, oh, actually, I was going to automate that, wasn't it? I was going to go over and do and automate my Simro run. I don't have enough tokens to do more than... Oh, that's... No, I want to go here to my free play. I'm going to load in. It should automatically load a party for me. Yes, it did. Boom. But then I would change this to 51. If I had another 2,500 tokens to spend, which I don't. Again, this is kind of a similar party. I use Briv here because I needed a second tank. There is a way to get finicky with Briv and try to finagle a reset so that he gains stacks, but I haven't fiddled with my Mad Wizard run that much. It's generally something, but well, mainly because my skipping is only at a 90% for one. People who have multi-skip, who have Briv stacked up to multiple levels, I think it's worth doing more for them, but I don't usually bother with it for me. You do you. There's always ways to optimize things more specifically for you. What was the free chest this time? And what is automation? Lazarus, this whole thing has been about automation. So if you missed the first part, you can catch the VOD right after we're done. The free chest today, though, it should have been a Modron chest. Did I? Oh, yeah, I had already entered that one in. Yeah, so the cores and automation code is a Modron chest this week. Thank Dylan for that. How much does Briv really speed up a 1 to 50 sprint? Oh, it's... Again, it depends on what your skip percentage is and how many levels you're skipping with Briv. And how many stacks of haste he's got, right? Can he use them all or not? I mean, I only skip one level, so if I had actually had him filled up and he actually had stuff to skip, I'd be skipping almost every other level, so it would almost double my speed to get to my automation zone. And when you're skipping bosses with Briv, you still get the gem bag, so he's fine for gem farming that way. Whereas if I had him at quad skip, if he skipped 4 levels with every jump, obviously that would be more like 4 times as fast, right? So it depends on what your Briv item is at, the item levels. Mine is only at level 80, so I only get like a 91% skip attempt for 1 level. The upgrade selector does not save with the formation. Correct. So if you're on a single level increase for end game, I don't know why you would be. Your next reset will go slowly. Anyway, that can be changed. That's Thorold. You can, again, that's a quality of life suggestion you can give to the developers. I'm not a developer. They have me come on and do these educational streams for you. So if that's something you want, I just leave mine usually either at upgrade or at 100. And let it go. Like if I were to automate my lower level account, I would put it on upgrade, so I'm not wasting levels, and I'm getting to actual upgrades that matter. But because I have Havalar, if you want to do the Havalar thing, if it works on your platform, and you want to abuse that little fun little bug, you put it on 100. I don't. I mean, you say you leave yours at X1 at an end of a game. I don't. If I'm at an end, if I do a deep run, it's usually at 100. Because I've usually gotten all the way to my soft cap, and after that, I'm usually over leveling my DPS only, and I do that with 100. That heal thing that you get off 1, that's really, if that's what you're doing with 1s, I find that's only in very specific variants where I absolutely need that extra healing. Otherwise, I wouldn't use it. Corvus Nox says, I don't have Binwin yet, so why do you have Binwin in the formation? I think I went over that earlier. Multi-attacker. If you don't have him, find another fast attacker or a multi-attacker. If you already covered this, can you explain how buff boxes work? Oh, that's not actually Modron automation. That's Modron, a guide to Modron cores themselves. That's these things. I won't be going into... Well, we can talk... I'll try to come back to that maybe, and we can talk about that at the end, because that isn't necessarily this. Bold that back up again, Jay. I will come back to that one. How do you get Sentry to use her redshift ability almost every level? I have her maxed out. I have her item maxed out. So it's a golden epic. A golden epic will max at like 252, or maybe even lower. I don't even know, but it's maxed out with the golden with the GE. So her redshift, it should say 100. Yeah, here we go. Resolution. Once it gets to 100%, it's capped. So it's at 101. So yeah, it should be like 252 for a GE, I think. I don't know. Somebody did the math on that, but you basically just have to get this to 100%, this number here under resolution. So this means if I haven't been attacked in an area, it's always going to be reduced by the 30%. For a new player, I might only have a few familiars who can only field, let's say, 3 champs for a gem farming formation. Do you think it would be more efficient to run all speed champs, or forgo a speed champ for a multi-hit champ like Benwin or Hitch? So a newer player who would probably benefit best, well, they probably wouldn't have their Sentry maxed, right? So you're not really seeing a whole lot of effect there. So having like a Deacon and a Shandy would be the best for the 2, and then you throw in a Hitch for the multi-attack. If you do have, again, Melf's probably not going to have. Melf is based off item levels as well. That's his speedy supplement item. So he may not be offering a whole lot as a third. If you could do all 3 of those, that would be, I think, pretty solid. But if he doesn't have a lot of item levels, then yeah, you would go like Deacon Sentry or Deacon Shandy and Hitch, and then run Hitch and more daggers. So if you're just going to run 3, that would work. That gives you a good mix of speed and multi-attack for clearing those out. Question. Then 2 save formations would be useful, using 1 for active play and 1 for background play. I mean, I have a lot of saves on main campaigns for various reasons. I'll save a speed formation usually anywhere. Like that's what this one is. That's usually the first thing I set up in a new campaign when I remember is a speed formation. And then the second will be like a wall push formation. And then any gimmicky formations I need after that, I'll throw saves in. Remember, you get, for each campaign, and I don't just mean like Sword Coast, Icewind Dale, whatever, but also each event champion has their own formation, and each patron counts as a campaign. Each of them has 100 saves you can have. So don't be shy. You don't even have to delete stuff if you don't want. It gets a little confusing, trying to find stuff if it's real cluttered. But make sure you use good naming conventions. And then if you're done with something, like if it was just if you made a formation for a specific variant, you can always dump it afterwards. But there's plenty of formations you can save. Don't hesitate. You can just only hot save 3, right? But you can save a bunch. Have I discussed scripting at all? Nope. And I'm not going to, because that's not officially supported by CNE. They do have a channel you can go to in the Discord and talk about it there, which to me is kind of a way of officially supporting it, but that's as supportive as they get about it. What we were talking about today is really just the automation the game offers, which are familiars and Modron cores. Check. Let me see if there's anything else specifically about. If I turn off always, that's offline progress. I'll come back to that one. Hold on. Let's see. When I unlock my second Modron core, do I get a third adventuring party? No. If not, how can I unlock a third party? This is kind of multi-party and not cores, but there is no third party yet. There are only 2. It does seem like if you only have a few familiars, there's not much to do other than use click damage to farm gems with the second party. Yeah, again, like I said, if you're going to automate the second party, you would farm gems and you would put whatever, one. I mean, I should probably just use one of my familiars in my background party and just have it farm to like 30 with a champion. and have it reset and get me some extra gems. That would probably be the best thing if you're just going to automate your background party. I think early on, it's better to just try to manage 2 parties at once, just like you manage 1 party. Just, hop over there every now and then, level people up, and try to do, like, the goal with my other account was that I would, in the background, I would do patron variants to earn patron currency while I was doing other stuff on the main account. I think that's a good idea, but again, you have to manage that stuff by hand if you don't have familiars. What helps more, having 3 familiars on the field for pickups or automating Deacon? I already have familiars on Sentry and Shandy. I mean, I would automate if you're doing Mad Wizard. If your Sentry's maxed, I guess Sentry and Shandy would be quick. I think pickups, though, like you want to have at least, if you have enough familiars, you want to have 3 on the field to at least pick up the gold. You really want 5, so it picks up the bag. That's why I also have that, because otherwise you're going to have lag. It's going to slow you down. But if you only have the 3, then yeah, 3 to pick up the gold, because yeah, the other champ isn't going to help a whole lot. How do you quickly change between save formation? Yeah, the hotkeys down here. This is just 1, 2, 3. I believe. Hold on, let me double check. You can come down here to this little map. It should tell you. But yeah, I think. Oh no, it's QWE. That's right. That's what it is. This is Q. This is W. This is E. Mars made a visual aid for that. If you want to hit up the Discord for hotkeys. If you don't have enough familiars to level 3 or 4 champs, you're not going to get super far on champs. Probably better off farming your gems with click damage until you can buy more familiars. I'm not sure exactly where that was going. I'm not sure what you're trying to do there. Like if that was Mad Wizard farming. I mean, Mad Wizard farming, again, I don't think it's something that you do early on in the game. I think it's something you do when you don't have any other quicker place to earn gems. So hopefully by that point you've split your gems. You've earned some familiars, maybe hopefully supported the game and bought some familiars. Like I said, there are $5 familiars out there, and then sometimes they're on sale. So there's good ways to do that through wild offers in the store. But yeah, I mean, again, you have to decide what's going to be the best use for your stuff. Like this is just, I'm telling you how formations work and how the core works, and then you have to figure out what's going to be the best scenario for you working on that as you move forward. You have to make decisions about which things you're going to place your familiars on, what you're going to automate, if you're going to automate at all early on. I don't automate at all on my newer account. I only automate on this account. As you can see, this was what I wanted to show. Even though I set this to reset at 51, it didn't. We're up in the hundreds because I don't have enough tokens, right? Now, if I come over here and if you didn't know this, you can get event tokens out of bounty contracts. If I come over here and I burn some bounty contracts and I get up to, ooh, yeah, we're real close there. 2492. 2464, this should do it. There we go. Now it's going to automate because suddenly I can afford to do it. That's how automating an event run works. But usually what I do is I burn all my bounty contracts at the start of an event. I don't burn them as I go. That way, personally, I prefer to spend the same amount of bounty contracts on each event. So if I burn them all when the event starts, then I'm always spending roughly the same amount of tokens on each event. What would be the optimal usage of familiars, in your opinion, when you aim for gem farming automation if you have all the gem familiars? You have a 12 number. It should be 11, I think. It's, 8 gem familiars and then 3 patron familiars. So if you have all in-game ones, it should be 11. I currently have 5 on the field. That's optimal. 1 for click damage and 4 for the speed champs. Well, that's 11. The other 2 familiars don't offer enough, and the other core is usable. Sounds like you have more than just the gem familiars. But yeah, usually that's why my Mad Wizard formation only has 5 out because that's the optimal one, because I don't care about distractions in the Mad Wizard gem farms. I don't need the gold. I have plenty of gold, so I don't need to kill distractions there. Then I have 1 on click damage, and then I have 1 on each champion I'm using. That's your optimal setup if you're just going to use as few as possible, because you don't need them on ultimates. And you just need whatever champions you want to run. So, yeah. I already have Deacon, Shandy, Briv, and Sentry for Mad Wizard farming. Would Havilar and Melf be better? Melf. Yeah. Melf is going to offer more general stuff. Again, Havilar, like there is this gimmick thing where if you put it at 100, her imps stay out, but they'll fix that eventually. They tried before. It just didn't stick for some reason. When they finally do fix it, that's going to go away, and because you've got to hit the ultimate to bring those out. This is a bug. It's not supposed to work that way. Is there any advantage to not automating at all? No. I mean, at the very least, you want to automate. Like I said, when I start my on my other account, I only have 3 familiars, and what I usually do is I have 1 when I start a run. I've got 1 upgrading click damage, and then I've got 2 on the field, and that gets me through the early part real quick. So, you know, even that little bit of automation helps make my life easier. And later on, I put it roaming the ultimate bars so that, you know, so that I'm doing that damage, extra damage automatically, and it's pushing super deep automatically for me. So yeah, you want to automate it if you can automate. It's just what kind of automation do you do, right? Are you automating just with familiars? Are you automating with your core? I think you can do just fine with just familiars. And like I said, I have my core right now on my other account. I don't use it for automation at all. I mean, I don't need to. There isn't, and I can't really. I mean, I've only got 3 familiars, so it's not something I'm really going to use, and that automation usually needs more familiars. So I need to split the party in order to get the card. Yeah, you have to complete split the party to get the second party and access to Modron cores and Modron automation. How far away is automation for a newest player? Well, like I said, you can complete 2 adventures in the game, your first 2 adventures, and you should have over 250 gems at that point, or you'll be real close. And then you buy that first Mage Hand familiar immediately, because it's only 250 gems. That's the best way to spend. Come on, stay open. I want to put the skin back on. That's the best way to spend your first 250 gems, in my opinion, is getting, because at least then you can drag the Mage Hand out on the field, and it'll kill some stuff for you early on and just make your life a little bit easier. And then from that point on, if you hit GVA in chat, exclamation point GVA, I can do it. Here. Hold on. There is a guide that I worked with Mars to make. It has the Mage Hand in the wrong place, because the Mage Hand used to cost 1,000, but now it's 250. So you buy that right away, and then how you spend your gems after that is, we kind of talk about the decisions you want to make going forward from there. Let's see. Is there any other way to get that second Modron core besides spending 500,000 gems? Nope. All right, I think that is all the specifically related stuff to automation. So let's just go. I'm going to go back to the top here. If I hadn't answered your question yet, hopefully I will go through and answer it now. What's the command for your Modron core image? There isn't one in this channel, but if you go to my channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr, and you type in exclamation point Modron, it will give you an image. It will give you a link to an Imgur album, or, well, not album, but an Imgur image that has what my fully filled out modest core looks like. Again, my strong core, which is the second one, just looks like this. No one needs a picture of that. I will not pipe this out until it is level 15. I have no reason to. But yeah. How do people rush split the party? Basically, you make decisions about who you're picking in a time gate based off the upcoming event champions that are going to be released that you know of. So to the best of your ability, like, and you try to use your time gates to fill in the gaps so that you get to, 1 extra option in each slot as quickly as possible. That's it. That's how you rush it. Once it unlocks and it's available, then you just go do it. You can do it, right away. It's not, if you know how split the party works, it's not as difficult as it may seem. I need to go through and write a guide. I did a video. I've got a highlight that has me running it right away on that newish player account, so people can see. That's a highlight over on my account. If you want to check the videos there's a highlight of me doing split the party on an account that's like 2 months old, maybe a little less than 2 months old. So you can do it pretty quickly. Briv's healing flow does not heal in my game. Is this a bug? It sounds like it. Yeah. I got Krull. I got some of his items. When I use him, I'm not getting any further than usual. What's the best way to make him effective? Go slot his Venomous Touch feat. First of all, that's the one you want. If you've only got 1 feat slot open. If you've got 2 feat slots open, you want Venomous Touch and whatever his pain booster is. Do I have Krull in my other party? Yeah, hold on, let me tell you what it is, because I only have his basic feats over there. So Venomous Touch is his Virulent Strain triggering, and then Boils is the pain one. So if you have both of them, you do both of those. But those are both green freebies that you get by default. But otherwise, you want Venomous Touch. You want to spec him early on. If you don't if you're a newer player and you don't soft cap, if you don't even know what soft cap is on a run, then you put him in Pilfer. That's going to get you tons of gold, which will let you push further, right? Because gold means power. And you're going to be able to level up all your other champions. You're also going to be able to level up per Krull. It's this weird power feedback loop, and he will let you push super far. But that's it. He doesn't really care where he is as long as he's not in the tank line. He does want you to have a strong tank. So you do want to make sure your tank, like if you only have Nayeli, you want to make sure Nayeli's in Devotion spec when you're using her. That is her tanking spec. You want to make sure that, that you give him time to work. If you're super early and you're still using Jarlaxle, you do not use Jarlaxle with Krull, because Jarlaxle attacks the furthest enemy. And Krull's plagues are building up on the closest enemies. So that's probably one of the times if you were wondering when you should switch from Jarlaxle to, say, Hitch or Minsk or Jamila as your DPS, when you get Krull, because Jarlaxle doesn't work. Jarlaxle doesn't play with Krull. It doesn't really do anything for you with Krull. You need somebody who's going to attack the closer enemies that have the plagues built up. So yeah, other than knowing exactly what you're doing with the formation, I can't tell you what's doing wrong, but that's it. That's what I would guess is happening. Is maybe you've got the wrong feats in, or maybe you don't have a super durable tank, or maybe you've got the wrong DPS. It's hard to say. Any recommendations on early game guides on YouTubes or VODs? There's a lot I feel like I'm missing. Well, this series, Gaarawarr's Guides to insert topic here, is on the Cena Games YouTube channel, under just Gaarawarr's Guides. There's also Gaarawarr's Guides to everything, but that's kind of my, I call it like the shotgun Q&A like shows, because it's just basically I'm answering questions the whole time. There isn't necessarily a specific topic. You can get a lot of information from there, but it isn't topical. It's just random. But there's a whole slew of now. I think we've got like a dozen episodes now up on YouTube of this. So it covers all the major systems. And we even did a couple on champions and a couple on specific patron variants. So yeah, there's a variety of things there. You can also hit up the Reddit. If someone puts ! Gaar_guides in chat, that'll take you to my Reddit wiki page that has I think it's around 80 guides. So there's a guide for every champion so that you can read through and kind of understand them and what they do even before you get them. And then there's a bunch of guides on the different systems, almost like the videos, because, hey, imagine that. It kind of played off those. But there's also in that wiki, on the Reddit wiki, there's also other people who make resources that you can read through their stuff on. And in the Discord, if you go in the Discord in the new player channel, which is under like player resources, you can get a lot of things, questions answered there, 24 hours a day usually. Ninehammer, I don't seem to get bud spikes when I have familiars clicking that I do when I'm not using them. Is that accurate? And if so, why? if you're click killing with familiars and your champions aren't actually attacking, then yeah, you're not gonna get bud spikes, because familiars don't set bud. So I guess it just depends on the situation. Like if you just have them out on the field, but your champions are killing things, then nothing should be changed. But if you're killing with familiars don't set bud. Good evening. How to start these events with so much gold? I had to start with 0. I had to start with 0 too. I just have a lot more power on my account than you do. I mean, that's the thing, is the longer you play, the more powerful you get, both in terms of, what champions you have and their synergies together and the gear that you have for them, but also your blessings and your perks, your patron perks, and your Modron core. Modron core adds a lot of power. All of those things work together to allow me on my first run to go like 700 or 800 levels, which means I earn a ton of gold. So yeah, it's just something you have to do over time. It just takes a while. On my newer account, like it's about 2 months, I think we're almost 3 months old now. It's 3 months old now. I had to work to get to like E09 gold, but E09 is roughly all you really need in this event to finish everything. I could keep going, trying to get more gold and more favor, to have a better conversion after the event's over, but I don't know if I will. If I turn off always auto progress while offline, will allow me to Azaka farm in the background? No. Azaka farm is a manipulation of the enemies that are on the screen in your active party formation. When you turn your game off, the simulation starts that level over and simulates that level. Well, that means everything you did to set up an Azaka farm goes away. So Azaka farms have to be done actively online. If you don't know what Azaka farming is, there is a Gaarawarr's Guide to Azaka on the CNE YouTube channel. Enjoy. What may be the problem if I can't finish an easy mission? You don't have... It's probably not a regular adventure. It's probably a variant. I'm going to guess, Modak. You can tell me. Hit the wall at 200, but 225 mission says easy. I'm guessing it's probably not an irregular adventure, and it's probably a variant. Variants have higher restrictions. Like they're just more difficult. They've got things that make it harder. So one thing to keep in mind is that green easy, when they show green, which means that they're difficulty easy, that is a measurement not unlike you must be this tall to ride this ride. Could you ride it if you were shorter? Yes, if you snuck on. Probably, you could probably make it work. Can you definitely ride it if you're taller? Yes. Does that mean you're going to enjoy it? Not necessarily, right? Like that's what we're looking at with those kind of difficulty levels. So they are measuring sticks, but they are not, especially when it comes to variants, they're not true indicators of what you can do. You have to use your own knowledge of the game when you look at the variant restrictions to see, is this going to be something I can do or not? Let me reset this because it's annoying me that I'm not in Mad Wizard. I don't understand Modron components. Where do I interact with them? That's a good question. I honestly, right off the bat, I don't think you need to. Right now. I don't think you need to at all. I have full epic, like if you're around earlier, I'll click on it again. I have my Modron core is completely purple. My first core is completely purple. I never used component pieces at all. So what are component pieces? Component pieces show up down here. It says I have 670 of them. I have so many. How I have any at all, because I was an alpha tester for Modrons. And back then, pieces had, like, if you see the pieces over here, like the pipes with all their either no values or positive values. Back then, there were pipes with negative values. So you could pop open and you could get a piece and it would have a negative value. And boy, did that make you happy. Not really. And I would just break down all the negative pieces. Because why the hell would I want a negative piece? Yeah. And then when they ran the script that removed all my pipes and all my progress and everything, it didn't remove component pieces. But here's the thing with component pieces. So this is where you interact with them. to get them, there's these little wrenches. If you've noticed, you should have noticed, there's a little wrench here. If you click on it, it says Dismantle Components. So you can dismantle things that you don't want. Just click somewhere to get off of that because I don't want to do that. But if I say I want to dismantle this, because I had a bunch of these, I can choose to dismantle one. When I do, it's going to give me one component piece. So if I were to dismantle this, it would give me one piece. Each one gives you a different amount. So a green is going to give you 5. A blue should give you 25, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then you could, if you're feeling real crazy, you can dismantle purples for 125. And then what you do with these is if you click on upgrade mode, you can use them to upgrade other pieces you have. So let's say I've got these white pieces. It'll take 10 component pieces to upgrade that to a green of that type. If I go to a green, it's going to take 50 to upgrade to a blue of that type with a bigger bonus. 250 to go from a blue to a purple. I did not do that at all. You can just loot stuff and get to epics. So currently, I don't know that there's any use for component pieces or for breaking down components. I don't see a good reason to break down components. I've filled this core completely, but I haven't piped my second core. So I wouldn't even consider breaking down components until I'd piped both cores. But we know at some point in the future we're going to get another core. So currently I don't see any reason to break down pieces. Yeah, I just don't. While we're here, let's go back and do the buff box question. Sorry if you already covered this, but can you explain how buff boxes work? You mentioned them on other streams, but I can't find the VOD where you explained them. Yeah, that was probably, I think I went deep into that on one of my own channels where I literally cleared this whole thing out. Before they had this clear button, I cleared it all out by hand, and then I repiped the whole thing on stream. I will pipe that second core. When I get level 15 on that second core, I'll pipe that all out on stream as well. And then I'll save that as a highlight. But this is what I refer to as a button, and some other people refer to as a buff box. So this is how you up your flow. Like a flow starts at 1, input power starts at 1. At certain points in here, I've got, like, here's 46 flow. There's 21. Like, so it varies at different places. There's 18. I think I've lowered this so that I'm not too high by the time I get to the ends. 30 at the ends. You know, it varies based off how you're splitting and how you're buffing. So what you want to do is you want to break up. Let me turn tooltips off. You want to break up the flow with a splitter. It can be, and I use these little double wide. I call this a double wide box usually because that's what fits in most of the spots. I do a double wide, so I'll do a split. And then this is where these arrowed pieces come in handy. You have to have these arrowed directional pieces to make buff boxes work. So I can come out, I can use a non-arrowed one here because the flow will always, on a non-arrowed one, it will go in somewhere and then it will go out on both of the others, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the arrows are on the other sides. It's always going to go out in this one from what's closest to the input and out the others. But if I were to have a non-arrowed one here, it would be trying to push out into that, and it would be doing nothing. It would just cancel each other out. It would just be like a logjam. So I have an input arrow here, so that means it's taking this and it's buffing the power, and I come all the way around, and these numbers adjust. Like this 333 wasn't actually 3333. It's a 10% buff, but when you've come through all of these, and this is a 10%, right? But because of the flow, this is telling you how much you've buffed up some of this and how many inputs you have. Because you're putting in all these components and we're jostling stuff around and maximizing the flow, this starts out at 1 and comes out, if we go tooltip, at 11.61. So we've gone up by a factor of an 11, right? And then when it comes out, it splits and goes down again, but then I run through another, like we come into this at 11 and we come out at 46.64, right? So this buff box, again, it wasn't even a big buff box. It's just a 2x3. But because we're getting some nice bonuses with these hundreds, because we're getting multiple inputs into this, we end up at a pretty large number coming out, right? That's how the buff boxes work. That's their point. You don't necessarily have to buff. there's at least one person that I know of that plays this game that doesn't have a single buff box in their level 15 core, and yet it's fully epic. With the right pieces, you can do it. But usually this is the quick way. And when I did this originally, I used a lot of, like, I didn't have these blanks in, like, here and some of these places. And I did a lot of modifiers, and I ended up, like, coming out down here, I think. Oh, yeah, here we go. 384.68 flow coming out of this. Because of, coming through these buff boxes. Like, these only say, like, 7s, right? And 27. But then I did this weird, funky buff box that comes out down here and around the corner. Oh, oops. With 380 something, 384 flow. Originally, this was, I want to say, like 400 or 500, and I pulled some of the buff, like the bonus pieces out, just because that was ridiculous. I probably could have piped the whole rest of this without doing more buff box at that point, but I didn't. It just seemed excessive. So yeah, I mean, you can get some pretty high numbers, but again, you only need to beat. I have a flow greater than 4 to currently max out the buffs that come off of these things. So that's what I tried to aim for when I was hitting there. Like, this one ends at 60, but or 30, but we didn't really need that. But like over here, this one barely ends at 4.42. You can see it's pink. This one ends at 4.35. This one ends at 4.35. This one ends at 4.3. You just have to be above 4 currently. At some point, they may introduce an overflow system, but I don't think we're there yet. Who knows? And an overflow system would basically give you, the higher you go, the more of a buff you get, but it doesn't do that right now. Alrighty, let's see. We got about 20 minutes left. Yeah, I'm seeing someone say they have an output on their strong core as high as like 14,000. It's unnecessary, but fun to see what you can get. Yeah, I aim to get the lowest flow. I tried to build mine so that it ended up just above 4 in as many places as possible. That was difficult. If I had 53 from Breaker Fist, if I had 53,000 gems, would I save up for the next gem familiar at 100k? So thus assuming I bought all the others up to there, or buy the very cool looking skins for Dritz and Caddy Bree. I mean, you have to decide, do you have enough familiars? Would one more familiar help you? Would one more familiar give you a better quality of life in your current setup? If it would really improve, like if it would be that one breakpoint that would let you start doing things that you wanted to do, then you save up for it. Otherwise, otherwise you don't. Like right now, I'm saving up. I have 105,000. Oh, that was the wrong. I always do that. That was the wrong thing. 150 is the closet, but I like to buy stuff with gold chests. I could buy both of these skins, but basically I budget myself, and I will probably buy one of these in the next week or two. Probably this one, because I don't really use Dadius that much. And then I will save some for gold chests for the next event. And then whatever I have left over continues my savings account for when I can buy the closet. That's kind of how I'm doing it. I buy gold chests on a regular basis to open every event. I like to open like probably 250, I think is what I've decided. Is I like to open about 250 gold chests each event. Not only does it get me, because I burn all my bounty contracts, because not only does it get me the feats for the newest champion when the champion comes out, but it also, because I have all the other feats, it also refills all my bounty contracts. So I will probably, I'll be buying about, making sure that I have 250 gems, or 250 gold chests. That means I'm spending a lot of gems on that. And then if I can afford to pick up a skin, I'll do that. And then whatever's left over gets saved for the closet. So I've already bought my 250 gold chests for this event and opened them all. We did that on stream yesterday. So right now I'm at 105,000. So if, we'll see. We'll see if I pull the trigger here, or if, I've got, a few weeks to go before I have to have gems for this. We'll see if I can get the closet or the skin. I have a lot of familiars, so I'm probably going to trend towards buying the skin first and delaying this. But yeah, it's making informed decisions. So figure out what's going to be best for you and do it. If you have all your default champs in purple, so your core ones, that's great. What is the better buy to progress, gold or silver chests? Gold still is, in my opinion, because even though you have all your epics, full core, and hopefully full core and evergreen epics, you still want feats. You probably don't have all your feats left, and they come out of gold chests. And you probably don't have, and you probably still want bounty contracts, and those don't come out of silver chests. So, yeah, I don't personally ever buy silver chests, ever. That's my choice. I know a lot of people who buy tons and tons of them. That's their choice. I want to regularly get my feats, which usually come out of like 50 to 100 chests. That's easy. But I also want all those bounty contracts because I want to level all my event champions up equally. That's my personal goal, is to make sure that they're all roughly equal in power. Because then, when I need to use them in variants and things, they're all going to perform adequately for me. Why does it take so long to recall champions? I have no idea. That's a good question for the dev stream. Potions seem to help. I don't know why potions would help. Sometimes they'll get stuck in the ether, and the only way to get them out is to switch parties a few times. Yeah, it takes a while, and it's still like sometimes I'll recall one from another party, and even though it's said it's recalled, it won't let me purchase it unless I mess around, fiddle with some things, or switch parties. There's still some bugs there. That's why they're not completely done probably with multi-party and Modron. So just make sure if you hit up the support page, like if you come down here, you click on the little question mark and get your support action going on. You'll pull up the page and if look for the bugs that say, hey, it takes forever to swap things, and then +1 it. So they know it's still an issue for people. Because I feel like they've polished a lot of. I feel like automation is solid. I feel like multi-party is still has some small bugs. But I feel like the Modron cores and the automation, I feel like are I haven't run into any bugs with those in a while. It's just multi-party that has a few little nagging bugs left in it, and then it's offline progress that a lot of people complain about, which is, that it's going slower than they like it to be. But those are all, those are 3 different things. Question about chests from Jerkix, or Jerchits, whatever they want to do that. I've bought over 100 silver chests, and I have a bunch of champions with empty white green slots. Some with no items at all, but I did not get a single one of them from any of those chests. Why? Because those champions are probably event champions. And silver chests, your regular silver and gold chests, only give you gear for your core and evergreen champions. So the core champions are those champions that you start the game with, the first 12 from Brunor through Archon. Evergreens are champions like Hitch and Dritz and Dragonbait and Azaka and Alcoria. All of those will get gear out of those chests, but your other champions will not. If we hop over here on my other account, if we look at, like here, Deacon is an event champion. So even though I have like Nayeli in all blues and purples, because I've been opening up lots of gold chests on this account, my Deacon still only has some greens, right? That's because I haven't opened specifically named Deacon chests for him. That's where he gets his gear as one way. He can also get gear out of group chests. Like if you're signed up for the newsletter, you get weekend chests. Well, this weekend you would get gear potentially out of that chest for either Turiel, Valanya, Nayeli, Celeste, or Penelope. And if you already have Celeste and Nayeli as core champions in full epics, or blues at least, then the gear pieces that are like greens would drop, greens or blues would drop for these other 3 event champions first. That's just how that works. You can also get gear for event champions out of patron chests once you unlock patrons. You can run time gates right up here. You can run a time gate for that specific champion. Like if I were to go in and view available time gates, when I manually open a time gate with time gate pieces, I can pick any champion I want, right? Any single one of them, and run and go and target it and get gear specifically for that champion. These are the ways you gear up your event champions. Hold on. How do I know in game which champion is evergreen and which is not? Uh, it's something you have to know. There's no flag indicator that says evergreen or core. It's just something you know about the game. Like there are things about every game that you just kind of have to learn. One of them is like, who are your core champions? Well, they're the ones you started the game with that you should have spent a good amount of time with these first slots, right? And then evergreens you had to earn and unlock in adventures in the game. So again, that's Hitch. Hitch was from the newsletter. You come up here and then you go newsletter and you sign up for it and you get Hitch. And then the others, Dritz, Azaka, Dragonbait, Alcoria, those were missions that earned you those champions. Those are evergreens. So evergreens are available year round. That's why they got the nickname Evergreen. Cores were default with the game. Everything else is either an event or a time gate champion. So you either get them from events or time gates. Is there currently a way to automate deep pushes for favor? I mean, technically, you can automate. You can use the automation system however you want. You would probably you would probably turn off your set area goal, right? You would use the set formation, and then you would use to load in your formation, and then you would set your buffs to kick in at certain levels. So you're using potions when they're going to matter. And it should push you to a nice deep level. But then like, what are you just getting your favor by pushing to that deep level? You're then going to have to manually reset because you wouldn't want to reset somewhere that you don't know. It's harder, but you could probably figure out a way to do it. The thing is most people get super deep when they want favor and then they Azaka farm, and there's no way to automate that. Car, do you know which Triton champion is coming? None that I know of. Saw that on an Ishii bonus for tall people. Yeah, everyone sees that and they think that a Triton's coming. And they've answered this question on stream a long time ago, but basically a long time ago, a long time ago in a Idle Champions far away, when Ishii was released, the upcoming CNE original champion was in the early stages of being made, was potentially going to be a Triton. And then if I remember correctly, Dylan can correct me on this, but if I remember correctly, what happened is then it became a Warforged and we got Warden. But when they were setting stuff up, they threw Triton into Ishii's stuff. But then Warden became a Warforged. I don't know what his name would have been, or what their name would have been as a Triton, but we never got a Triton. There is no Triton coming that I know of. So I don't have a second core. Would be a good idea to set up a gem farm on the core and use the second party as my event party? Whatever you want. Gem farming is usually best done, like if you're trying to do it quickly, in your automated foreground party. So you could run your second party through events without automation and just use that to push, and then just check in on them every now and then, and that'd be totally fine. I kind of new to the game. Welcome, Peacemaker. Found a build around mints. Got a few times to 110. What tips do you have for people like me, beginner building? You're going to want to go read on my wiki page, Gaarawarr's Guide to Formations, like Formations 101, or watch the video on the CNE YouTube, Gaarawarr's Guide to Formations. That's the first kind of thing, like, to start with. I think that's where you start in this game, is learning what building a formation means, and how to build one. That's kind of the core fundamental knowledge you need to move forward in this game. It is always better for you to know how to do that, and then that will lead to you realizing, I've got to know what all these champions do, and then you'll slowly pick up knowledge about the champions and stuff. That's the big thing. From there, then you dip into like how the core loop works, like with Divine Favor and Blessings, which there's guides for that too. So just hit up some guides, hit up the Reddit wiki, or hit up the Discord. People help you out. Do you have any estimate of how many component chests you open to get full purple? Oh, no, I have no idea. Basically, you get one for every level you reach, right? Up to the max of up to level 15. So that's And in the 3, like what they start you off with 3, and then you get 1 for each level. So that's what, like 17 total chests you get for free. And then I got, 1 from each patron every week. So 3 a week, until I maxed it out. I don't know how long that took really. I know eventually I hit a point where everything was purple, and I knew that at every level after that I could keep it purple. So I wasn't even at 15 before I knew that I would end up at full purple. It was well before. It was like at level 10 or 11, and leveling up my Modron core. So yeah, it's hard to say. How do I have a 333.3 boosting piece? Again, I think I went into that. It's because it's an input. It's a quad piece with 3 inputs and 1 output. And if you hook up all 3 inputs, it boosts, it maximizes the boost. So the number of inputs you have determines the ultimate boost. It starts out at a base boost, but then it goes up based off how many you've actually connected. Is it necessary to have all epic pipes to get the maximum bonuses? No, I don't even have all epic pipes on mine. I think I showed that. I mean, some of these are like, this is a white pipe. Yeah, I'll pull it out so you can see that's a white pipe. Like I don't even have all epics everywhere. Like here's a purple, or here's blue, excuse me. Blues. Do I have greens? Yeah, I've got some greens and lots of whites. Lots and lots of whites, right? Like these are all whites. Anything that doesn't have a number in it is a white. So yeah. Nope. Don't need it. Did you go back and replace unnecessary boosting pipes with plain ones once you max the flow? Yes. Yeah, I built out the whole thing, and then I went back and I started removing pieces to minimize flow, because I wanted to open up potential pieces to use in my other core. How do you open this Modron screen? This is very confusing. Go watch Gaarawarr's Guide to Modron, to multi-party and Modron automation. That's a whole thing. That's adventuring parties. You open up adventuring parties, you hit view core, and you'll go to a whole other core. This may not be something you have in your game yet. Why would you use white pipes instead of higher quality ones? Because I don't need a bonus flow. Because I already had purple flow. I don't need, it doesn't get any better than that currently. Is this inside Idle Champions? I've never seen this Modron pipes. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of, if you're newer, you don't have access to it yet. You gotta get at least one champion, or I should say at least 2 champions in every slot. So at least 1 swap in every slot to unlock multi-party and Modron automation. Is that flow in Discord? I was aiming to just get above 4 so I had more pieces available. I don't think that picture is in Discord. It might be in Discord somewhere, but if you just go over to my channel, CNE or twitch.tv/Gaarawarr, you can input !Modron and it will kick out, the bot will kick out the image for that. In your opinion, has the Modron core and second party led to players amassing so much excess power that CNE can never provide enough meaningful content to satisfy? No, because, I mean, there's always going to be people at the top tier have always had to, kind of slake their thirst for content by waiting for the next content update. Like there's never enough content at the top end. There just never is. You can't create enough content to keep people happy, once they've completed it all. But the required levels on some things are now high enough, especially in places like Avernus, that you need that power to get there. If I don't run, like here, if we go look, if we hop in here and we go all the way to the end, which is down here, and we look at this, this is 525 as a goal for the base adventure, or for the base variant. And then the patron version is way above this. I think it's up like 600s, high 600s. So we're getting to the point where you almost need to get to 700 in a patron variant, like a Strahd version, to finish. That needs the power from Modron cores. Like my full Modron core, full epics, it should do this for most people. It gets me about 100 extra areas. That's a lot. But there's a lot of power in that core. So like I can, and I know this because I will run with my bear core with just the automation one, and I will get to a wall, and then I will swap this one in with all of these buffs that are listed out here, and that gets me about another 100 levels. I don't know that I could push through to complete something like Strahd's Relentless Peril. I don't know if they've even tried it yet, without that core. So yeah, I thought higher flow equals more boost, only up till 4. Anything above that doesn't do anything. When it first came out, there was a bug where if you went higher, it gave you more. That was a bug. That wasn't an intended feature. It doesn't exist anymore. I've seen Mars often get silver chests and you get gold chests. Why there's no, we both have lots of silvers. I mean, I opened over 1,000 silvers, but I get that just from automation. He might buy them. I think he probably buys them because he's trying to get all of his shinies for his core and his core and Evergreen champions. So shinies are these little silver internal things, right? Like it says shiny level 71 and it shows silver instead of this bronze looking thing. I just finished all my shinies. I got all my shinies just from natural silvers that I looted while playing the game. Mad Wizard farming, it gets you lots of silver chests because they just drop off bosses every now and then. So I personally spend my gems on gold chests. Is there a reason to hold off opening gold event chests until you have all the champs? Nothing that's related to power or drops. It's really just when I open silver chests first and then gold chests later, it's a collection thing, and the collection doesn't mean anything. It's just an obsession about the collection. We only got a couple minutes left. Let me see if there are any major ones I can answer. Deslugi says, I thought recall only happened if when the champion in question finished the level they were on. I don't know. I've never watched it that closely. Maybe. Something like a party co-op multiplayer, something as a guild or whatever. Nope. This is a single player game. What's the purpose of potion usage in automation? Again, you use a postage or use a potion. That's the purpose. I generally only use speed potions just to run things quicker. I don't tend to automate the other stuff, but to each their own. Honeymoon, champions are only buyable instead of tradable for gems? What? You don't get a champion. You don't get champions with gems. You earn champions for free from events or time gates, or you buy them from the shop. Gems buy other things. So, a way to view which of your own champions are event champions? Kind of. Again, it's anything that's not your core or evergreen. Should be pretty straightforward. But if you have 6 time gate pieces and you come over here to view available time gates, it will list off. This is every event champion or event/time gate champion in the game. They're all over here. If they don't show up in here, they're a core or evergreen champion. And that's all of our time for this week, folks. We'll be back next week. The CNE Games channel and its content network. Content Network Extreme. That's what CNE stands for. No. The shows start up Monday morning with Champions of Lore, which is one of my 2 favorite shows on this channel. My other favorite show is Bardic Inspiration, but that's on Tuesday. Champions of Lore starts at 11 a.m. on Mondays, so the content streaming network that is CNE Games will be back on Monday at 11 a.m. I highly recommend Champions of Lore. That's got Trevor hosting, and then it's got the infamous B. Dave Walters and Aaron of the Thousand Evans, author of the Brimstone Angels saga, talking lore about that's related to Idle Champions and D&D in general. So join us next week for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.